This is a presentation of a market analysis done by Rebecca Bodin for Foundations of Real Estate Markets. The site analyzed in this presentation is located at 701 Russell Avenue in Gaithersburg, Maryland. The property is located in Montgomery County, Maryland, and is zoned commercial. The site has a unique shape and is just over 30 acres. The site is flat and there are not any major waterways or landmarks that will negatively affect development. Visibility of the site is currently acceptable from the major roads surrounding it, but proper signage will be needed and landscaping will need to be improved. The site is surrounded by a wide variety of office, retail, and residential developments, which allows this site to be developed in many different ways. The roads that connect with Russell Avenue are Montgomery Village Road, Odendahl Avenue, and Asbury Drive. Frederick Avenue, also known as Maryland Route 355, is just one block from the site. The property is very close to three easily accessible major highways: I-270, which connects to I-95 and I-70, Maryland Route 355, which runs from Washington, D.C. to just beyond Frederick, Maryland, and I-370. There are many options available for transit to and from the site, including 5 ride-on stops on the roads immediately surrounding the site and the Lake Forest Transit Center that is located at the southeast corner of the property. It is also easy to drive personal cars in and around this area. Ride-on Extra is a recent addition to the area that makes rush hour commutes quicker and more enjoyable. It has limited stops along Route 355, and the buses on this route provide Wi-Fi and USB charging ports. Biking is also a viable option, and the city is adding more bike lockers around the area. The traffic counts of the surrounding areas are strong and have been growing over the past few years. As of 2016, the approximate average annual daily traffic for the major surrounding roads were 34,400 on North Frederick Avenue, 178,600 on I-270, and 46,400 on Montgomery Village Avenue. The schools in the immediate vicinity of the property are very poorly rated, but there are great schools within 15 minutes. Diamond Elementary School, Lakelands Park Middle School, and Quince Orchard High School are all rated at least 8 out of 10. There are also numerous universities within 45 minutes of the site, including the University of Maryland, the University of the District of Columbia, and Georgetown University. The violent and property crime rate per 1,000 citizens in Gaithersburg is lower than Maryland and the United States. Gaithersburg also ranks as safer than 49% of other U.S. cities. There are 6 great parks within a 10-minute drive of the site: Constitution Gardens Park, South Valley Park, Strawberry Knoll Park, Kelly Park, Borer Park, and Brown Station Park. Various playgrounds and activities are offered at these parks, including a water park at Borer Park. Additional nearby activities include an adventure park, the Lancaster County Dutch Market, the Rockville Town Square, and Old Town Gaithersburg. There are countless food and beverage options in the immediate area surrounding the site, as well as 4 great grocery stores located close by: Sam's Club, Trader Joe's, Costco, and Weis. For this analysis, the primary market area has been determined to be a 10-minute driving distance, and the secondary market area is a 15-minute driving distance. Demand for office space in Montgomery County is due to many factors, including macroeconomic trends, policies of the federal government, and expansion of healthcare. The major industries in Montgomery County are the federal government, healthcare, and professional services. From 2016 to 2017, the Silver Spring Frederick Rockville metropolitan area saw 2.3% job growth, which was above the national average of 1.5%. While there has been some job growth, the absorption rates do not seem to support much office development. The annual absorption in the early 2000s was 585,000 square feet annually, but it dropped significantly after the financial crisis to just 33,000 square feet annually. With the recent growth and recovery in the county, it is likely that an average of 100,000 square feet of additional office space could be absorbed annually, but this is a countywide number and does not just include the primary market area. There were certainly some positives for Montgomery County in 2016. Many major employers expanded or pledged to stay in the area, including Marriott International, Wedding Wire, and InfoSim. While these actions will provide jobs, they likely will not add much demand for office space because many of them will develop their own properties. There are 28 existing office properties in the primary market area that make up over 5.8 million square feet of total office space available. All of these properties are quite large, with each having over 100,000 square feet of rentable building area. As of CoStar's latest report, there are just over 700,000 square feet of vacant space, which puts the vacancy rate at about 12%. The average weighted rent of the comparables is about $26 per square foot, and the average year the properties were built is 1989. There are also 4 proposed office developments in the primary market area that would add an additional 869,000 square feet to the total available space. However, one property is fully pre-leased, which reduces the available space to 609,000. You can see from the map that about half of the existing properties are in close proximity to the subject site, but the proposed properties are a bit more spread out. While the location is excellent and there is a lot to draw people to the area, the office market is oversupplied. The percentage of potential office demand for the primary market area that the site would attract would depend on the type of office development. A standard office park would likely capture only 10% of the market, while a development with special draws could capture as much as 25%. Considering the average age of the office buildings in the area is 1989, a new property could be a big draw, but again, it would have to be done just right. If an office-only development is the desired route, it will have to draw tenants away from their existing locations in order to survive. To allow the property to stand out, it could be developed as a LEED or Green Globe certified building. While the upfront cost may be slightly higher for a certified building, the operating costs would be greatly reduced, which would add value to the building. Additionally, there are numerous local, state, and federal financial incentives and funding programs that would reduce the cost of developing a green building. In general, I would not recommend an office-only development. There is not enough demand and the vacancy rate is already too high. The demand for residential space in the primary market area is a culmination of the general population, characteristics of households, market segmentation, and employment in the area. The population has been growing since the 2000 census was completed. The average household has 2.82 people and 1.64 cars, as well as an income of $96,202, almost twice the national average. The median household income was also high at $74,098. Homeowners, which represent 55.54% of the market, have a high median home value of $329,969. The average age of a person living in the primary market area in 2015 was about 36, and the majority of people are between 25 and 64. People in this stage of their lives would likely be young professionals, young and growing families, or empty nesters. The primary market area has a higher than average rate of college-educated people. The majority of growth in this area is coming from people aged 25 to 34 years. As of December 31st, 2015, the unemployment rate was 3.2% in Gaithersburg, 2.9% in Rockville, and 4.7% in Maryland. The overall low unemployment rate is a good sign for a strong housing market and the economy in general. The target market is going to be people in their late 20s to early 40s who are more highly educated than the average American. They bring in a higher than average income and are looking for the convenience of an urban residential environment. They will likely use public transit but will also maintain personal vehicles. Renters will stay for many years and then either move to a more suburban area or a larger apartment. The area around the site is best suited for a multifamily development. With the largest growing population in the area coming from people 25 to 34, it is clear that millennials are moving here. Millennials want the flexibility to be able to move in a relatively short amount of time, and renting allows them to do that. Also, they do not want the responsibilities of homeownership. The area around the site supports a more urban lifestyle that fits well with multifamily properties. The rest of this residential market analysis will focus on multifamily housing. There are 10 existing properties that could be competitors for residential development on this site, and they are located between 0.62 and 1.67 miles from the subject property. They have an average vacancy rate of 3.4% and an average year built of 1980. The table below details the number of units of each type and the average rents. There has been some new construction in the area around the site since 2010, but the information available on those properties is limited. I spoke with Armando at Spectrum Luxury Apartments that opened in 2014 and is just over 1 mile from the subject property. The information he gave me is detailed in the table below. They do not have any 3-bedroom units available or coming available anytime soon. He also mentioned that they recently had to lower the prices of their 1-bedroom apartments. Another factor to keep in mind about the new construction is that most of it is farther away from the subject site with an average distance of 2.4 miles away. This map shows existing multifamily properties that are used as comparables in relation to the subject site, as well as some new properties. Exact current availability is very difficult to determine as information is not widely available. However, there is current unmet demand for 3-bedroom apartments. Other than studio apartments, 3 bedrooms are the least commonly developed type of apartment in this area. This site is a good match for residential development. Vacancy rates have been low over the past 5 years, averaging 3.8%, and there has been 1.9% rent growth. Low unemployment and increased population in the area contribute to the positives for this site. The highly rated schools and community spaces nearby, along with the easy accessibility, will help to attract families to the area. Nearby transit allows residents to keep their cars at home but still get everywhere they need to be, and the crime rate has been decreasing in the recent years, as well as this area is generally safer than the state and country overall. A specific capture rate was not able to be determined due to limited information that is available. However, the right development with the right features could draw a higher percentage of residents than the market would typically indicate. A residential development would be successful in this site, but it has to be done correctly. There has been continual growth in both general population numbers and households over the past 15 years. With a conservative growth rate of 4%, population should reach approximately 98,300 by 2025. A growing population will lead to a growing demand for housing. With an appropriate mix of unit types and desired amenities, this property can support 400 residential apartments and will have no problem leasing at or above market rental rates. Part of the success of a residential development will depend on the unit mix. Based on the supply and unmet demand information available, I would recommend a residential development on this site to have approximately 400 apartments, of which 10% are studios, 20% are one bedrooms, 30% are two bedrooms, and 40% are three bedrooms. A new residential development should offer things that others can't easily or quickly replicate, such as a green building certification or a bark park. There are certain unit and property amenities that must be offered just to fit into the market. Each unit should have its own laundry room, a private patio or balcony, and a dishwasher, and the community needs to have, at minimum, a pool, storage facility, and health club. Any additional amenities that could be added to the site should be considered, and all units need to be pet friendly. Two important factors behind retail demand are household makeup and current employment. In the primary trade area, there are 31,422 households. The average household income is $96,202, with 36.88% of households bringing in more than $100,000. Of the households, 67.57% are family households. Additionally, the average household size is 2.82 people. The table to the right shows the composition of family households in the area. The primary trade area has an unemployment rate of 5.19%, but the cities of Gaithersburg and Rockville have much lower unemployment. There are 32 existing retail properties within the market area of the subject site. Most of the properties are 100% leased due to being rented to or occupied by single tenants. There are only about 55,900 square feet of space vacant out of the over 6.5 million square feet of rentable area, which is a vacancy rate of just 0.86%. According to the Planning Department of Montgomery County, there are 8 retail developments that have been proposed within a 5-mile radius of the subject site. They would total about 390,000 square feet, and they are in various stages of review. There are also development applications for McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, and CVS, but those are specialty and will not have standard leasable space. The map to the right shows the existing retail spaces that currently have vacancies, as well as the proposed sites that provided complete addresses to the Planning Department. Total consumer expenditures generated from those in the primary trade area totaled almost $2 billion in 2015. The table to the right details some of the specific categories of consumer expenditures, as well as the store types that the transactions likely occurred at. The categories in the table make up 41.18% of all consumer spending in 2015. Based on the 2015 consumer spending data in standard dollars per square foot of sales, the entire primary market area can support approximately 2.25 million square feet of retail space. Based on the surrounding competition and expected spending patterns of those living in the primary market area, the following capture rates in the table to the right have been established. Personal care services and products and apparel and accessories should do the best in retail development on the site. When the determined capture rates for the subject property are applied to sales per square foot for the entire area, the data shows that approximately 490,000 square feet of retail could be supported on this site. Out-of-home food and apparel and accessories are by far the largest categories that will support the most square footage. This site is a good choice for retail development as the population in the primary trade area has higher than average income and spends consistently. The easy access from main roads and excellent visibility are also beneficial for this site. Also, there currently appears to be unmet retail space demand. With the vacancy rate of existing properties being just 0.86%, new space needs to be added to the market. And most of the existing retail space is decades old, so a fresh development could draw some tenants away from older spaces and could even bring new stores to the area. Growth in the area's population is expected to continue, which will increase overall consumer spending in the primary trade area. With an appropriate store mix, this property will have no problem leasing 490,000 square feet of retail space at or above current market rental rates. Store mix is going to be very important for the success of this site as a retail development. The 490,000 square feet should be divided in the following ways. 65,000 should be convenience-based stores, 100,000 square feet should be food and beverage based, and 325,000 square feet should be general retail. I recommend a sporting goods store for one of the anchors of the site. There is not really any specific competition for sporting goods in the area. 1 or 2 department stores could be supported, though they should not be quite as large as what you would generally see in a large retail development. There should be food and beverage options throughout the site, some located on the outer edges and some in a central food court area. A mixed-use development is the best option for this site. Residential and retail are doing well on their own, and they will do even better when combined. Considering there are only 2 uses in this mixed-use scenario, it may not be considered truly mixed-use by some. Based on the information presented previously, this site could support approximately 490,000 square feet of retail space and a good amount of residential space. However, for the best mix of retail and residential, I would recommend the following breakdown. 350,000 square feet of retail space composed of 25,000 square feet of convenience-based stores, 100,000 square feet for food and beverage businesses, and 225,000 square feet for general retail stores. 300 units of residential space should be composed of 30 studios, 61 bedrooms, 92 bedrooms, and 123 bedrooms. The design of the development is very important, and I would recommend a single large building. The majority of the retail would be on the lower floor of the building, with the residential on the upper floors. The ground level retail will be easily accessible for those who live in the development, but also attractive to people in the general area. A few food and beverage spaces and convenience-based stores should be located on the outer edges to accommodate drive-by traffic. Parking should be provided in the immediate vicinity of the outer edge businesses. Some parking should also be provided close to the main retail area. Additionally, a parking garage should be located near the back of the property, but not too far from the main building. There are countless benefits for mixed-use properties, including the ability to capture revenue from multiple sectors and to reduce overall risk. With 2 land uses, you will be able to capture more of the overall market than you would with a single land use. A retail-only development would be limited to capturing revenue from stores and businesses that rely on general consumer spending. If a residential component is added, revenue will also come from demand in that sector. A mixed-use development will reduce overall vacancy risk. Suppose the development is half retail and half residential. Even if retail is doing poorly, revenue from the residential side will help offset potential losses. There are also some concerns to consider when developing a mixed-use property. The property will require unique management and continued coordination of many parties. There could be nuisance issues for residential tenants. Financing options may be limited. Initial development costs may be higher. And there could be timing issues if there are multiple phases of the project. The best development option for this site is one that contains retail and residential components. The site's location and easy accessibility will be draws for the property, but the development also needs to be designed carefully. The property can support 300,000 square feet of retail and 300 residential apartments, but they need to stand out from the competition. Special amenities or building certification should be considered during the design process. The primary market area has strong demand characteristics that contribute to a healthy market for retail and residential space. Not only has the population been growing, but unemployment has stayed low. Households are bringing in incomes that are almost double the national average. Renters are staying in one apartment for many years, and most households are families. Office is not a good gamble for this space, considering the amount of supply available and the market's preference for a more urban working environment. Looking forward into 2020, consumer spending should continue to increase as more households move into the area. If the primary trade area continues to grow as it has, retail and residential space on the site will perform even better than it would today.